All rise and shout. It's time for What's Trending. What's Trending is presented by Tim Daly Ford, part of the Tim Daly Auto Group, serving Utah since 1968. The NFL Draft more than 3 months out, but Senior Bowl coming up, NFLPA Bowl this week. There's a lot of combo around the draft right now, especially because, as you mentioned, Shep, Mel Kiper of ESPN just released his updated player rankings. Jaren Hall 6th among quarterbacks, Blake Freeland 5th among offensive tackles. So I ask you, do you think both will be off the board by the 4th round of the draft?
There is certainly a chance. I will say it's probably likely that at least one is. And if I have to pick which one right now, I would probably say the more likely to be off the board through 3 rounds is Blake Freeland.
No question.
I think that's probably where that plays out. Honestly, I think a guy like Blake Freeland could go as high as the 2nd round. I think the 3rd round is probably the sweet spot for him, but I certainly could see him going in the 2nd round. And look, it's certainly not anything negative against Jaren Hall. We know how good Jaren Hall is. I think Jaren Hall is going to be a fantastic quarterback at the next level. I certainly think there is a chance that he could be like a round 3 guy. I think probably round 4 is probably more realistic for him, and it's not because of a talent issue. I think when you look at the NFL draft, and I am an NFL draft nut, I love it. The NFL draft is one of those ones from a quarterback standpoint. Once you have the top-tier guys, so your C.J. Strouds, Bryce Youngs, once those go off, especially with what we've seen, with what we've seen in the last couple of years with a lot of success from middle round and late round quarterbacks actually coming in and having success in the NFL, I think teams are willing to sort of push the quarterback down the road a little bit, and they feel like they can still get really good talent in the 4th and the 5th rounds because it's proven to be.
Yeah.
If you're certainly a tackle, and we know that at BYU, Blake was a left tackle, such a hot commodity in the NFL. If you're anywhere close to being a top 10 tackle, certainly a left tackle, they're going to snatch you up as quick as they possibly can. That's why I think it's probably more likely that Blake is taken before round 3 if I have to pick between the 2.
Yeah, I think it's very likely that Blake will be the first off the board from BYU and in the first 3 rounds. Probably, I'm guessing 2nd round, but, Kiper very high on both Jaren and Blake. Dane Brugler of The Athletic has Jaren as the 13th best quarterback, Blake as the 14th best. Kiper is kind of the main voice in this conversation.
That's quite the difference, too.
But there's a big difference there. If that's the case, yeah, you're not going for a while. You might be 3rd, 4th, 5th round. I don't think Blake falls to the 5th, but Blake feels like he's top 3 rounds almost for sure. Being that good at that position, like you mentioned. And yeah, certain teams are going to be so desperate, they're going to grab their quarterback in the first 5 picks. The Bears don't need one. Texans need one. Arizona doesn't need one, but kind of. Colts definitely need one. Seahawks might not need one in the top 5 if they re-sign Geno. I'm hoping the Seahawks grab Jaren, honestly, in like the
Geno and Drew Lock. What are you talking about? You're set.
Drew Lock. Nice. Okay, so NFL mock draft database. They compile like 543 mock drafts, which is what we've asked all of our students to do behind the scenes in research. They said, hey, wait, there's just a website. We're like, okay, cool. Jaren Hall projected to go in the 3rd round. Overall, 82nd. Blake Freeland, 3rd round, 78. So they actually have Blake just barely ahead of Jaren there, right? Highest pick. Okay. You see 56th for Jaren, 69th for Blake Freeland. Let's bring Puka Nacua into this conversation. Going to be another guy that's kind of he's the 3rd best prospect from BYU, clearly. And he's a guy that could be drafted. I could also see him perhaps not being drafted, but I think he'll crush it at the combine.
Yes, I do too.
And they'll see the film and they'll go, playmaker. Because when I assess a football team, I go, how many playmakers do you have? Are you in that upper echelon of talent and ability to change a game? And Puka is certainly that. We saw it firsthand on the first play from scrimmage against South Florida. It was amazing. And Cam Mellor is a guy that assesses college football. He's been assessing pro football for many years. Homie of the program, as they called him. He came on recently and said that he thinks Puka might go before Jaren. Listen to this.
I think he might eventually, as we get through January into March, and when he gets to run at the combine, he's going to be a guy who could be drafted higher than Jaren. And I just think that his pre-draft process, from the Senior Bowl all the way through to a pro day to the combine, he's going to be a guy who turns heads, and people are going to have they develop their draft crushes on. So I think Nacua, Puka jumps up and may be right there ahead of Jaren, depending on how they both perform at the Senior Bowl.
Turning heads is aptly named because that's what the cornerbacks were doing as they watched Puka run down the field. This is exciting to have three guys really in the mix, two that we feel are going to be drafted for sure, and a quarterback. Because the moment Jaren's drafted, Aaron Roderick just adds that LinkedIn, goes, yep, another guy. Yep. Come here. Keaton, you're going to be the next guy. Let's go.
If you're not a first day guy, so you're talking first round, and you're not a second day guy, which is rounds 2 and 3, if you're rounds 4 through 7, look, I understand that there is a financial aspect of where you're drafted in a certain area and kind of a slotted money allowance, that type of stuff. So I get you want to be drafted as high as you possibly can, because then that means financially you're able to make more money in terms of signing bonuses and things like that. But I think if you're looking at day 3, so in a situation where Puka, by a lot of the measurables, that's where that looks like he would probably go.
Day 3 guy.
Possibly Jaren Hall being that day 3 guy. Again, I would expect him, if it is day 3, early day 3. But if you're 4 through 7, to me, it's more about going to a place where you can be a fit than being a high pick.
Zach Wilson.
Well,
it's the perfect situation there, is he not?
Tyler Algier is the perfect scenario for this.
Fifth round. We did not think he'd slide that far.
But he went to a perfect situation. They needed a running back. He was able to get in and get significant playing time, and we already saw what he was able to do, getting over 1,000 yards on the ground. So if you're a day 3, I know you want to go as high as you possibly can, but it's so much more about fit rounds 4 through 7 than it is about being a high pick. Go where you have a realistic chance to make a difference, and they're going to give you playing time. I think that's pivotal.
Yes, Brady Christensen has been with the Panthers team. That's not been super competitive the last 2 years, but they're building, right? They've fired the head coach. They're going to give it. He's been able to start at left guard last year as the guy. And in the NFL, more than any other league, teams go from worst to first quickly.
Yeah.
We've seen the last couple of years, like the Bengals are super legit. They used to be terrible. The Browns were terrible forever.
They went from 2 wins to being Super Bowl contenders.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
And they could win it this year. Like, and
I hope they don't, but that's fine.
He's like,
go Chiefs.
Not a neutral side game. And you have these teams, like even the Browns, right? Won a playoff game 2 years ago on the road at Pittsburgh after being terrible for years. Lions nearly made it this year, but thankfully the Detroit Sea Lions were awesome on the final day of the regular season. Shout out to the Lions and Jamal Williams for helping a brother out. But this is going to be interesting to see where they go. Teams that need quarterbacks in the NFL, where Jaren Hall could go, by the way. We can trim this down to like 13 or something. Panthers, Lions, Texans, Colts, Raiders, Rams, Saints. Probably not Giants. They'll probably re-sign Daniel Jones after this year. We'll see. Jets. Seahawks need a backup. Bucks, Titans, Commanders.
Are teams looking at Jaren, though, to come in and be their starter?
No.
Or are they looking at...
I think he's backup initially. So which is exciting because he's going to get the experience that we wish Zach Wilson had gotten.
Correct.
Now, Zach's the second pick. You're expected to be a starter. You're expected to contribute. You're expected in your first 2 years to take those leaps, like we saw with some guys like Trevor Lawrence. Unfortunately, and I said this when he was drafted, I hope Zach can overcome Jets. Obviously, Zach and the Jets are contributors to what's happened here. But we can't always just blame every team but Jimmer. Does that make sense? Like, sometimes Jimmer maybe wasn't good enough, and we love Jimmer. But it's like, oh, the King. You're on like 5 teams. We love Jimmer.
The Kings were the absolute worst place for him to start his career out.
Right, but he went other places. Still didn't work out. Like, at what point do you look in the mirror, right? And Zach Wilson is looking in the mirror right now. And hopefully they find an offensive coordinator that can get the best out of him or go somewhere else. But the timeline in the universe changed when he went to the Jets and not the next pick to the Niners.
The Niners would have been a match made in heaven.
That day on Pro Day, they traded up to 3. That day, John Lynch, the GM, walks into the indoor practice facility, and they want Zach Wilson.
They wanted to get up to 2 so that they could take him, but the Jets were not going to let it happen.
Kyle Shanahan could have done with Zach Wilson what he has done with Brock Purdy. Imagine that. We'd be watching Zach Wilson and Fred Warner tear up the NFC. And it would be hard as a Seahawks fan, but I would love it to see those guys succeed.
The interesting thing, and I want to go back to the difference in these two mocks, the one from The Athletic and then obviously from Mel Kiper.
Yeah.
You're talking about from the positional ranks, you're talking about a 7-position difference from what Kiper had from Jaren Hall to what Brugler had. Is it Brugler or Brugler? We're going to call him Dane. So from what Mel and Dane had, that's, I think, it sort of puts the NFL draft into perspective. Beauty really is in the eye of the beholder. You may have one player that one team is just desperate to get as soon as he's available. Another team's like, you know what? We think we can get him in 2 rounds.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the draft. It's also the part of the draft that's so hard to be able to gauge because you just don't know. And you don't know that Mr. Irrelevant is going to come in and possibly go undefeated for the rest of the year.
Destroy the world.
You know what I mean?
Unbelievable run here.
Because
of Kyle Shanahan.
Yes.
Listen, the Niners have been set up to win. Great defense. They had McCaffrey. They got Kittle. They got Debo. They got all these guys. They're just waiting. Now, the Jets, unfortunately, they are a quarterback away from being very interesting.
Yeah.
And we want that quarterback to be Zach Wilson. We'll see what happens in the offseason. They have to hire that OC again. That's a big deal. And get Zach right. And if he's not, go to another team, be the backup. Someone gets hurt, now you got your shot. Zach's going to get another shot in the NFL somewhere. But Jaren Hall is going to be able to sit behind someone. Blake Freeland's going to be able to come in, and perhaps he's the starter right away if it's somebody in the middle of the second round. They want him to probably start. Or maybe he moves to left guard or right guard. We don't know. In the NFL, typically, they'll take tackles and just put them as guards because you just want that 6'7", 330 guy with the massive reach and the big hands and whatever. Puka Nacua is going to be interesting, too, because he's going to be the first receiver in a minute to make an impact in the NFL for BYU. And I've said this before. If he had 4 or even 3 healthy years like Austin Collie, I think we'd be saying Puka was the best receiver in BYU history. I just need the volume to be able to say that. I say Austin 1, Cody 2. But in terms of sheer athleticism and playmaking ability, it's hard to argue that Puka is not one of the best, if the best receiver in BYU history. And we'll see him somewhere. Now, the Senior Bowl is going to be interesting. This is next week. There are practices. This is the premier all-star game you want to be in. February 4th on that Saturday and the whole week next week is the biggest week of the lives of these 3 guys because they can go up in.
It's what changed Ziggy's career trajectory in the draft.
Absolutely. Great poll because Ziggy was kind of like, who is this guy? 4.5 sacks, And then he gets in there and they're like, oh my gosh, this guy's an athletic freak of nature.
And then someone's like, I don't know if you've heard this story, but he didn't know how to put on his football pads.
So we do the Y Awards that year, and he wears these 3D glasses with no lenses, on stage. And we're like, what is this? That's a big personality. Ziggy was the guy.
He was at the 5th pick. It turned out he turned it into the 5th pick.
Unbelievable, because a few years before that, I would just go play pickup basketball in the Richards building, and I would just play with Ziggy. And Ziggy was the super freakish athletic guy.
Did he dunk on you?
Ghana. Not on me, but...
Did you dunk on him?
Yes. No.
That is not true.
We played an intramural game where he threw down super hard. I'm not going to say on who because it's one of the coaches at BYU in a sport, but I'm not going to say.
You tell me off the air?
Yeah. It was Jennifer Rockwood. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't worry, I'll tell everybody when we come back from commercial break.
I'm just kidding.
I won't.
Rockwood was a baller, by the way. Played basketball at Rick's.
Yes. Yeah.
That is a scientific fact.